Hello and welcome to Leviathan News. It's October 24th, and our guest today is the founder and creator of Builda, and that is DeFi Dude, who we've had on this show before. But I actually reached out to DeFi Dude a couple of weeks back and asked him to come in, and he's going to have a ongoing segment that I believe is going to be bi-weekly for now. But Builda is a website where you can discover Web3 projects and learn about new protocols, new websites, new apps, new just about everything, right? It's almost like a product hunt for Web3. And so we've asked him to come in every 2 weeks now and to essentially like run through the best of the best. We're going to review what's been hot on Builda, what people are looking at. And I think for this segment, it's important to remember that, we're not just talking about new tokens. We're also talking about dev projects and apps and other things that may not even have a token, NFTs. And so there's going to be a huge, wide range of what's been popular over at Builda. And so we're happy to have him and try out this new segment. So DeFi Dude, welcome to Leviathan News.
Thank you. So happy to be here again. And yeah, as you said, I'm happy you mentioned that. Just to clarify, this isn't about picking the best of the best with tokens or from an investment or something perspective. But yeah, at Builda, we have all these awesome projects coming in every week. So I'd love to come on here and share with you guys in the community some of the awesome projects that we're seeing.
Yeah. So maybe before we hop in, we can just talk about like what Builda is and what it's trying to do and kind of how, you guys have been operating now for what, like 3 months, 4 months?
Yeah, about 3 months.
Yeah. And so like, how's that launch been? Like, what have you guys learned in that? And what's happening with Builda?
Yeah, so we've actually learned, kind of what we thought before launching is just that builders and people working in Web3, they are passionate and they want to, get what they're building out into the world. So we definitely saw that, we've experienced that. And so it's been really great working with all these projects, having the spirit, the passion. We've also learned that there's no shortage of building, even in a bear market, even when people are crying on Twitter about prices and stuff, there is always this large amount of builders working very hard with lots of passion. And so that's been really great. We've really loved just, working with them. And since launch on Builda, we've kind of hit some, not, I wouldn't say limits, but we're like, it's just that we're a small team. And now that we have launched, we've got so much in mind, so much that we want to do, and not enough time. So I think going forward is just to continue working with some of these awesome builders, and then continue to building out some of the new features of Builda, which can maybe touch on a little bit later.
So before we jump in, how does one take part in Builda? Like, let's do 2 tracks, right? If I'm a project, how do I use Builda? And if I'm looking for like new cool Web3 projects, how am I running that track as well too? So let's go through the 2 user journeys here.
Sure. There's actually almost 3, but I'll cover those 2 and then mention the almost third one. Is just so for projects, you can go to Builda. It's all free. Like, we have no weird stuff. We're also passionate Web3 builders. So you just submit your project, hit the big submit button, big orange flashy button. And once you do, if you're logged in, it's going to, give you this little modal that pops up, and you basically fill in your project information. So the description, logo, title, all the basic stuff, nothing too crazy. It takes 5 to 10 minutes. You hit submit. And once you hit that submit button, boom, that's it. It's in our back end, and it's waiting. And as long as you aren't submitting some kind of like crazy scam project, then it's going to be approved next Monday. And every Monday we have a new batch of projects. So for the projects, that's basically it. And then they're live on the platform. They can be voted on. For users, for the second and almost third kind of profile is, you can go and discover new projects every Monday. Of course, you can vote on them, interact. But right now, as I mentioned, we're a 2-man team. It is a little bit limited on what you can do as a user beyond just voting and kind of obviously getting alpha and finding new projects, which is still great. And then the third one, which is still kind of the user discovering alpha, but more so just that you don't have to be the project creator or a team member to submit a project. So if you're big in a project or their community and you really like it, you want to support it, you're more than welcome to submit it to Builda as an advocate. We have a distinction between advocates and builders. Of course, the builders are like the team members. Just that way, you don't have to be an official team member, because we know in Web3 community is so strong and people do tend to help out without working for the team. So
very nice. Yeah, and it may just be a distributed community as well too, with like no marketing department and maybe just an anonymous engineer or two. So it's a ever-growing system. And so we wanted to take a look at some of the projects. We have 5 projects to talk about today that you have shared with us. And so let's hop in. The first one we're just showing on the page now. It's Envio. And looking at the website here, they are the fastest, most flexible way to get on-chain data, hyper-RPC, hypersync, hyperindex. Start shipping.
Yeah, this is actually by some longtime friends of mine who were actually building in DeFi at Folk Capital for the longest time. Mm-hmm. And I'm like the most non-technical, non-dev person. So when it comes to telling you like, where this comes in and like RPCs and, all that technical stuff, I can't even really tell you that. As far as like why this is better than this or that, I can't say that. But new RPCs, new infrastructure is always great. New indexers, stuff that devs are always looking out for. And I know this team personally. I think the only team on the list here today that I actually know. And just their energy every time I've talked to them, like you can tell they're just constantly building, constantly doing good stuff. So I thought it was worth the mention, especially because they just released, I think maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago. I don't know exactly. Mm-hmm. But recently. Yeah.
Well, this is pretty cool. I always like RPC projects, and especially if they're delivering at scale and speed. That's definitely something that builders need, indexers, and other people that need that data would have demand for.
Yeah, and I'm curious on their pricing and stuff. I didn't check to like compare, but it's still, to any developers or anything, it's still worth maybe checking them out and seeing how they might compare at a more technical level, which I can't really provide today.
Yeah. But all that information is here. So that's Envio. And then the second project that you shared with us is Upgradoor, which is they say amplify your regular ERC 721 NFTs by converting them into supercharged Remark NFTs.
Yeah. So this is kind of playing on this NFT kind of 2.0 thing, which some people might say, well, that terminology isn't correct, 2.0. But that's kind of what they use for over at RMRK. And basically what it is Upgradoor is just an easy front end. So, it's not like, what am I trying to say? The infrastructure for all this exists on the back end somewhere. Like you don't need this front end to be able to upgrade your NFT to a 2.0. But obviously, like me, a non-technical user who can't even explain Envio, I have no idea how to do that. So this front end makes it very easy to supercharge your NFT. And then what that does is it enables with RMRK's, their standards that they've developed, you can do many things with your NFTs. So you can nest them, which is you put NFTs within your NFTs. So like, let's say you have a game character. If you want to carry your inventory, your items, now that's possible all in one NFT. You can equip things. So again, going back to the game thing, and just many different ways that you kind of adds more functionality to the NFT, all while being backwards compatible. I think that's the right word, is just so if you're ever sick of your NFT 2.0 and you're like, I want to go back to my 721, what everyone's using, you can always just do that. And you can take it right back out and have your original NFT. So I think that's great. And this is by Bruno, and he's been doing some awesome stuff.
That's pretty cool. Have you seen any uptick in these RMRK NFTs? Because I've seen people talking about them. I know people were mentioning like NFT 2.0, but the things that they're supposedly providing, which they have highlighted in this website, like they're nestable, multi-asset, composable, they have emotes, like all those things are interesting. I would like to see them kind of get picked up a little bit and maybe get like proof of concept in a few projects to see how they can work.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't really seen like a ton of traction around these recently, but I know that they kind of have just shifted things around. Before they didn't have this front end and all that stuff, so it was very technical and kind of dev heavy to even get started. So yeah, I guess it's just a matter of time, see how it plays out, and hopefully like projects, maybe you can find use of say nestable NFTs for their project and implemented and stuff like that. So I guess it's just a matter of seeing. And
yeah, so they do have a RMRK like marketplace as well too. So like once you wrap these things, oh look, here's our favorite Lobster Dally NFT that somebody's wrapped.
That's great.
Or maybe they are using the multi-asset NFT.
It looks like there's 2 assets on the bottom left there, but I don't know if that's some kind of like multiple assets in one or what.
Yeah, it's interesting, but it's cool. I like this Lobster Dally one a lot. This one was on Base, and great token, or great NFT. We can always recommend this one.
Yeah.
Cool. So the next one that you wanted to share is MAVA, which is this like AI support?
Yeah, this is actually, so this is it's Web3, but it's not like your typical all 100% Web3. But I'm just mentioning it because I thought it was interesting. Of course, that's why I'm here, but also because of how Web3 exists in like the current kind of support community area for Web3. It's just a mess, I think, right now. It depends on, depends on the project, depends what it is. But, when you're dealing with money, when you're dealing with private keys and all this stuff, especially, support is extra sensitive. You're dealing with money, you're dealing with the potential to be scammed, hacked, whatever. So that also adds extra to it, and not to mention frustration. If you're dealing with your money and you're losing money, you're like, I'm mad, I want help now. So it's important, especially with startups. You don't always have this large support team to help. So basically what MAVA does is, you can kind of have this, it utilizes AI, but it also doesn't only, use AI. You can have your regular support, but it kind of, let's say you have a Web3 community on Discord, Telegram, and I don't know where else they support, but this would have it so you can have support tickets or support on Discord. You can have it on Telegram, but it all comes into the same app, so you're not hopping around, but also utilize the AI. So it's like kind of trained on your project a bit. So if someone asks, hey, how do I deposit into Aave? It can have this, it learned how to tell you, hey, to deposit into Aave, do this, this, this. So just kind of eases some of the pain from, startup workers in Web3 who aren't even support, but have to put so much time to support. And yeah, it might help out there. And I just thought it was cool because kind of did a little bit of a mashup of AI and Web3 and it's tackling support there. So
yeah, it's interesting. I think there is pretty big demand for these types of products. You look at what Zendesk has been able to do, as well as Intercom, and if they can integrate some of these features in here and be like Web3 centric and allow for like AI LLM training that is tailored around your projects, that's pretty cool. I think that's going to be pretty interesting. And look, they also have a Telegram bot as well too that you can integrate into their app platform. Is this a video? Let's see if we can get the video going. Maybe the video doesn't work, but that's pretty cool. I think this is one of the projects that like highlight what the strengths of Builda are, is that, you're not always going to find a speculative token to come and bet on, but that there's going to be actual real infrastructural projects that if you're a builder or you already have a project yourself, that might be able to help upgrade and better support your communities.
Yep, totally agree. And at least not a token yet. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. Well, I don't know how this one would need it. I mean, it seems
they
have pricing and everything. It looks pretty standard. So, but it looks interesting. Yeah. Okay, so let's hop on to the next one. This one is actually, I thought this one was pretty cool. So we have BasePaint.xyz, and this, can you explain this one? Because I like the picture, but I'm not exactly sure what's going on here.
Yeah, so this one I actually really like BasePaint as well. And earlier I said, oh, it's the only person I know for the first project, but actually I know Zach. He's a really good guy. He's ex-Consensus and has been a long time into NFT stuff. So he's been, at least recently. And then, Base came out, and I guess somehow he just naturally found this with his NFT mindset. And basically what it is you have this canvas. So I'm going to take us back like 20 years. There was this website, like $1 million website or something, where there's 1 million pixels on a website, some .com Web2 thing, and you can buy a pixel or for $1, I think it was. You could buy an advertisement, whatever. And this website still exists today. A bunch of like 2003 ads on some flashy, ugly website. They made $1 million. So I mentioned that just because it has a similar concept in that all these pixels you're seeing here on this canvas are all purchasable almost in a way. So you have an NFT that's a paintbrush. You can mint a paintbrush, and that paintbrush gives you, I think it's 100 pixels of painting per canvas. So let's say I have 2 paintbrushes. I can paint on this canvas up to 200 of those pixels or dots that you can see. And then that's it if I only have 2 paintbrushes. And people can paint over them, and cover my stuff if they want to. But yeah, it's just this big collaborative thing. Everyone has paintbrushes. They all can even paint over each other or this or that. And then at the end, the canvas, I think they're 24 hours. At the end, it mints or locks in place. And then everyone has this chance to mint this as a whole NFT. And anyone who, let's say, helped contribute to this NFT, placed pixels, used their paintbrush on the canvas, they get a share of the total pot that was used to mint the final NFT, if that makes sense.
Very cool. Yeah, so like here it says minted 496 times. The 777 artists earned 1.16064 ETH. Pretty cool. I wonder what the first one was.
Yeah, and I like the paintbrushes are reusable too, so it's been kind of cool seeing the continuous traction and also the beautiful art. I almost not to doubt Zach or the project at all, but I'm almost wondering, are you guys using bots or something? Because the art looks so beautiful sometimes, and I'm and I've seen the POAP canvas, they've done something similar, and it also turns out beautiful. So I guess I'm not too surprised, but still.
Yeah. Yeah, these are great. I mean, this is really nice. I mean, there's some definite art that goes in here. Look at this lo-fi one. This one's great. That one's cool. And this one earned 4.5 ETH. So there are people who come in and use this. I mean, there's sometimes over 1,000 people that are coming in and buying this.
These are coming out nice. I remember an early project based on Bitcoin doing this, and it was a lot of unmentionable artwork that came out of
it. Yeah, these are actually pretty good. I might have to mint a couple of these and take part, do some
pretty cool.
drawing and stuff. Cool. And you look at the different themes. These are pretty nice. I mean, the quality that's gone in here is very, very cool. The people who are painting, it reminds me of what's that Reddit canvas project?
Oh yeah, Our Place, I think it is, where you can place the pixels. Yeah, I should have mentioned that too. Yeah, it's very like that, more monetized, but yeah.
Yeah, so I think if I can just bring this. So this was the Reddit place, and I'm not exactly sure how the pixels get created here, but there is definite. Look at all. I mean, the amount of art that goes into this and the time that people spend to make these, because it's a similar project. I mean, you can see how much detail and potential this BasePaint has. I mean, this is a great project. Honestly, this is probably the best project out of the 4. Just from
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I love the collaborative, how collaborative it is, and just the detail. It's you can get lost. I mean, these are a little smaller than the Reddit one, but sometimes you can just get lost on the Reddit, and even these, looking at all the different things and different characters and stuff.
Well, the thing about the Reddit one is that it's up for months, and everybody on Reddit can take part in it. I think that I think it was up for 6 months or something. So there's a lot of time. If you think about all the pictures that are being placed here for the BasePaint, if you put these all together, I mean, you could get to the size of the Reddit one. But I see what the point here is, just to have daily pictures that people come in and make and then put out. So, and it's also heavily on community building as well too. Oh, so that's cool. You get to vote on the theme and the color palette as well too.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that's interesting. What a great site. I mean, this is a very fun site. This BasePaint. Yeah, that's cool. So you can even mint the open edition to your wallet every day automatically. They have a nice little bot for that as well too. I think a lot of thought has gone into this. This is this is cool. I mean, this might be one of the better like base projects that I've seen. And look, they've got about 5,000 followers. This is cool. I think this is like, this highlights like what Builda can provide, is like the ability to find good communities, good support, good infrastructure projects. There's a huge diverse range of stuff you can find through Builda. And so let's go to the last project. So this is Eesee. And so this is they say next gen gamified NFT-fi and social-fi platform.
Yeah, so this is how I pronounce Eesee. I don't know the correct pronunciation, but that's how I had it in my head, so I'm just gonna say it like that. But it's a new take, I guess, on an NFT marketplace. So still in the NFT area of BasePaint, but not limited to just Base. But they have a really cool spin that, I felt like sharing it because, I know we've all seen many NFT marketplaces. This isn't really anything too new. But the reason I mention it is just because of how they approach the whole NFT thing. So, especially in times of bear markets, there's not a lot of liquidity, or, you might have, I don't know how to best explain it, but not a lot of buyers, not a lot of interest. Just NFT market in general, I guess, has kind of been a little lower than maybe the hype of the bull. So there are people who have maybe NFTs who can't get rid of them and want to, or people who want to buy NFTs but maybe don't have the money to buy it. And I'll explain why Eesee is great for that. Is just because for a seller, if you want to sell your NFT, it allows for more buyers. And the reason is because if I put up an NFT for sale on OpenSea, it's one buyer, they pay this full price for whatever it is, whatever I set it as, 1 ETH. With Eesee, if I list it for, let's say, 1 ETH, it can be sold off in tickets that are almost like raffles in a way. So it doesn't need just one person to have all this money to say, I want your one NFT. It can be 10 people who are like, I want to kind of take a raffle to win this NFT. I'm going to put in $10 of the 100, and I have a 1/10th chance of winning. And then when it's finally met, like the total price is met, the NFT is sold. Then the raffle system, I think they use Chainlink's VRF thing to determine the winner. Then the winner gets the NFT. So as a buyer, yeah, it's almost like raffle gambling, sort of. Like I wouldn't say gambling in your traditional risking sense of like a casino, but there is a gambling nature to it. And yeah, sellers, just more ways to bring on buyers, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. That's pretty cool. It looks like they have some support from like Rari, and who else is here? Who's the Vova and Aiden? Cool. Well, that's an interesting project. So like you buy like tickets, and then like somebody gets to win it at the end. It's like
gamified. Exactly. You can set the gamified NFT marketplace basically.
That's cool.
Which can be fun, like if I've never had a CryptoPunk, but like if I saw one where I could buy a ticket for $5 to $10, even if I have like a 0.2% chance of winning, I mean, why not? Like I don't know. I think it could be fun.
It's almost like a version of Pool Together for NFTs.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I
can see that.
Where you can put in whatever kind of money you want. You buy the small, like one ticket, and maybe it hits big and you win and you get a big return. Otherwise, it's probably going to be distributed based on the probability of the returns, right? Seeing who has what tickets. So that's cool. I like that. That's really interesting. Well, cool. So these have been 5 projects that we have shared. Gerrit, did you have any questions? Or
I'm just more curious, like what types of projects would you like to see, if not these? Like obviously, like these are all like pretty innovative takes, but we want to build big things if we do in fact have a new bull market upon us. Like what sort of like opportunities do you see?
Yeah, we're not too selective, I would say. Like we love to see it all, and as far as like on Builda, we don't really have limits, or we won't say like, oh, we want to see this more or less. To be honest, like we've seen a really like healthy amount of diversity between like what types of projects, the people behind them, And yeah, so I don't think I have any input of like what more we want to see. Just what we don't want to see, I guess, more so is like, yeah, your typical, like, it doesn't matter if you have a token. Tokens are great. Like, so many projects have tokens, but some that are way far out there, like really meme tokeny or totally on the borderline of being a scam. Obviously, we don't want that. We want the platform to be healthy. But there's no shortage of like specific projects that we haven't seen yet. And yeah, so I think we're good there. And yeah.
What do you more generally make of the market movements from yesterday?
In what sense? Like, what do I think is how things are going, or like what's to come, or what do you?
Any thoughts?
Anything? Yeah, I'm a perma bull, so I'll always say it's like just around the corner. I will say like 3 days. Like, I never give advice, or at least not serious advice. I'm usually joking, but for the first time, like 3 days ago, a longtime friend for many years, we catch up every few months, messaged me, and for the first time in a long time, I did say, I really think now is like, give or take 2 to 3 months is probably the time to accumulate in the bear. And like, I'm not saying, I was right, because a few days later pumped, this could be very short term, who knows? But I do think that we are kind of near the peak despair. We're not seeing like suicide hotline being posted like we did in 2018, which was really pretty dark. But I think a lot of us have learned and grown. But what we are seeing is like projects shutting down left and right. I'm seeing friends unemployed left and right. I'm seeing talent that is so cheap. That was $500,000 for a junior dev in the bull market, and now will work for coffee and a croissant. So it's like there's been I think a lot of changes there, and like there's still a lot of people thinking, there's a lot more doom to come because the price is still what it is. But I think if you're not looking at just the price, you're looking at projects and runway and all this. We're pretty near, I think, peak despair, in my opinion. Again, no advice or anything like that, but. And me, perma bull, so always holding spot, and just think we're good. I think we're bullish. So,
do you have any insights on like what does Builda show you about market insights? Is it just engagement, people coming to the site, like the amount of projects that are coming?
I would say it's really good with like the builders. I think the sentiments and like the mood of builders, for one, like, because we're not just having them list on Builda. We are talking to these builders. We're interacting with these builders, their teams, not all of them, but a good majority of them. And we're so we do get like kind of what's going on, what's everyone like feeling. And I think one thing that's really great for us is like being able to connect teams as well too, or like kind of acting as like not that middle layer, but where we've had so many cases where teams like are totally disconnected from all these other teams or crypto Twitter in general, or this, and just going on Builda and like jumping on our Twitter spaces, and this has like been able to bring them towards that and closer to the community. So we've really like enjoyed that. And I'm kind of lost at your question. What was your original question even? I totally lost the question.
Just if you get any insight on like the builder market from Builda, like what are you able to determine anything about like what the put together like funding or seeing projects coming around, engagement?
I think is pretty bleak right now. I think it's pretty, things aren't great. Like we've even had a project that I'm trying to think this exact scenario, but they were like listed on Builda and then they weren't fully public. It was in beta. Then their public launch was supposed to be for like a month later, all planned. They had lots of funding, good stuff. 2 weeks later, they shut down, like just total out of the blue, like shut down. And this isn't new. Like that was new for us just because it was like, so like, hey, we're all great. Everything's so good. We're launching next month. And then it felt like such a sudden change. And, it sucks. I feel really bad like that happens. But so we are seeing that, but we're seeing, it's not usually that extreme. But just on Builda alone, like we've been live for 3 months and we've maybe had a handful of projects already on Builda that have closed down and stuff, which is kind of shows a lot. And yeah, so I guess I don't know, we're it's just pretty dark. I think like the mood overall is not the best, but again, I'm an optimist. I'm a perma bull, so I always kind of try to see it with some light. But
yeah, I hope so too. I mean, people are always going to fund new projects. I mean, there's too much opportunity in the space. and early stage VCs have to deploy capital. They just sitting on cash is just not something that they do. So there's always going to be room for new projects, and Builda is a great place to find them.
Yeah, thank you. And it was great to be on with you guys today, and looking forward to many more times.
Very cool.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thank you. I think we'll keep it short today. There's some Bitcoin ETF news that came about yesterday. It's just mullings and some filings that people are getting hyped up about. Obviously, we had the move from Bitcoin up from pretty much 31,000 up to 37,000 on some exchanges, on some of the perpetual exchanges. So it looks like we're getting back to bull market vibes. Maybe let's not get the cart ahead of the horse, but people are definitely starting to feel exciting again. Market is bubbling, ready for some upward movement. And, we always like that. If not, then we go back into the bear for another 6 months. We'll be talking about this in June next year. Having the same conversations about when the next bull market takes off. But at the same time, I know that there are teams that are getting funded and there are new projects coming out. And so at some point, narratives have to latch on, especially at the further end of the risk profile. And there's always going to be projects that build and grow during the bear. I mean, we saw FinTech has gone. We've seen several other projects, Pendle as well, to kind of come up in this bear. So there's always room if you are building something good and have a good product. So just don't get too down. I know it's always hard, but at the end of the day, it's just a cycle.
Yeah, I'd like to add one comment as well, just because I was a little dark there, and I didn't want to make it seem like the whole market is dying and bleak. Like there's a lot of downfall, but what's beautiful what's beautiful about it is these builders, they're not just disappearing and dying and going away. Mm-hmm. They're just like recycling in Web3. They're going to new stuff. They're going to and there's always funding new projects. So it's still a lot of positive outlook.
And we're so forgetful as well, too. I mean, I don't know how long DeFi, when did you come into the space?
Like full time, like 2017, 2018.
Yeah. So if you had showed me the stuff that we have today back in 2017 and said, like, this is the bear market of 2023, I would have, like, I was going to say shit a brick, but I would have been extremely surprised, and it would have been beyond anything my wildest imagination could have come up with at the time. Seeing the robust environment that had been created, projects like Curve and Frax and Lino and everything else that has come out in the past just 3 years, this rapid pace of innovation, the emergence of DeFi, NFTs as well too. Like, if you had shown me that back in 2017, I mean, I would have had no idea that any of this was coming. So the pace at which we move is progressing, and I think we just have these like short-term memory problems about what it was like to actually have growth in the space and what that looks like. We know the feeling, right? It's like a drug, but I think the ways to get back to the bull market are just, again, through building and supporting developers and having new projects come out that can help us drive innovation in this industry. Well, cool. I think we'll wrap it up there for today. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Shorter episode today, but we are going to be back tomorrow. I think we have a special guest. Let me check this right now. I believe I booked somebody last night. I was going through like all the different research papers and other types of articles that have come out in the past few days, and I'm sure I got somebody. I wrote like 20 people, so we have a huge lineup for the next couple of weeks, and very excited to share some new stories with everyone. So it's going to be me and Big G. So yeah, DeFi Dude, thanks for coming around. Everybody that's tuning at home, thank you for subscribing and watching our daily live stream. Please follow us on Twitter and Telegram. Did I say Twitter? Yeah, YouTube as well too. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.